So you guys finally got the date. You're on your first date. She finally accepted. You asked her out the first time. You got the date and time set up. And now you're like, man, what am I going to say? What am I going to talk about? How do I keep from being awkward? How can I ensure I get to see her a second time? How do I not mess up? How do I not fumble the ball? Because you've been through a few other dates in the past and you never made it to the second date. So you want to ensure this time you're cool, calm, and collected, and you're able to attract her and not mess up. Fear not, fellas. It's your guy. It's your favorite everything. JR, I'm here to help you out. It's Big Bro here. This is Unc here. About to tell y'all what y'all need to do. I covered this topic in the past in my earlier years, and I've been knocking out a few of these things recently to help you guys out with dating. This is dating 101. So without further ado, let's get into it, fellas. Relax is cool. Whatever happens, happens, but you don't want to be a creep on this date. I'm assuming by this time you already have it set up. She's probably meeting you there at the location. You don't want to be late, which is the first thing. You want to be on time, or you want to be waiting on her. Women typically show up either on time, or sometimes they show up maybe a few minutes late. Sometimes women who show up early, those are dope. Those are definitely the winners that you want to deal with. Those are definitely the winners that you want to deal with. What you want to do is you want to meet her there, and you want to already have the table. If you don't have a table, wherever it is that you're going, you want to be able to show that you are leading the situation. You're leading up, whether you're finding the table, you got the reservations, or you planned a picnic or a walk or whatever. You want to make it seem like you know what you're doing. You're not looking for her to lead because you invited her out, right? That's based off the conversation. You invited her out. So you want to show that you're leading and that you know what you're doing and that you're confident. The biggest thing, you invite her out. This is a big thing that always comes up. You want to pay for the meal. A lot of guys like to argue on here and say, she needs to go half. She needs to do this. No, you're paying for it, guys. I understand you talk about equality, so on and so. You're asking her out on a date. It's common courtesy anyway. This woman's not expecting to pay for half on a date because whatever. So you guys just need to stop that. So first things first, you want to do that. The second thing is you want to have her do 75% of the talking. You maybe do 25%. Women like to talk about themselves. They like to talk about what's going on. Do not talk about yourself. Do not talk about the money you make and you have this type of status and I can do this. I can change your life. All this stuff. No, you want to ask her engaging questions, the usual. Throw a joke in there, but try not to make her laugh. You just want to be witty and things like that. And you want to smile and engage her. You want to give her eye contact when you're talking to her. You want to ask her questions about herself. What does she do? You want to be personal, but not too personal, if you know what I'm saying. It has to be a balance, guys. You don't want to be, oh, what about this? What about that? And that goes to the next thing, body count. I know a lot of you guys, JR, I got to ask her body count. It's got to go down on the first date. You listen to a lot of these guys on these podcasts and stuff like that, and you'll end up, she'll get up and walk out on you guys. You don't ask a woman her body count on the first date. Don't get into all that. It's definitely not necessary, and you're going to basically turn her off by asking her something like that, man. Don't do that, fellas. But you want to ask her engaging questions like her goals, stuff like that. What does she like doing? What does she do for fun? Hey, what type of food she like? What does she do? Her past? What does she do during the summers? What does she got planned for the summer? You want to ask her future things, just questions to get her wondering, and engaging questions like that. How were you in high school? What about your job? Is it like this? Is it that? But you don't want to get into too personal questions like money, finances. You don't want to talk about politics. You don't want to get into religion unless you guys are obviously of the same religion and that's how you connected. If it's a way that you guys have connected, then feel free to discuss it. But don't get into too much in depth. You just basically interviewing her to get to know her, man. It should be lighthearted and fun, not a serious interrogation. A woman doesn't like to feel interrogated. She likes to know that you are genuinely interested in getting to know her. Women like to talk about themselves. Like I always refer back to Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And women, they like to talk about themselves. So you as the man, you sit back and you take it all in and you give her eye contact and you show you're interested and you ask her questions based off what she's telling you so that she knows that you're listening and that you're engaging her. Another thing, do not be creepy. Do not treat her like your girlfriend. Do not express you're madly in love with her. You've been checking her out. You're glad. Thank you for coming on this date with me. Thank you for spending time with. Do not put on any type of gratuitous bullshit like that with a woman. You don't want to treat her like a girlfriend on this date. You just want to treat her. You just want to be cool. You are showing her that you're into her. You want to make it feel like she's out with a friend. You want to have her let her hair down and things like that. You know what I mean? Now, another thing is you don't want to be talking about sex either. Alan Roger Curry, I always bring him up, rest in peace. He has in his book, Mode 1, where he talks about first things first, he gets straight to it. You don't want to get into, not everybody can pull that off. And it's rare that happens where you just get into straight talking about sex on the first date, blah, blah, blah. What type of position you like, this, that, and the third. Don't get into all that, but you do need to throw out some sort of sexual innuendo to let her know that you're interested, because some women can get the wrong idea about you and think that you're not really into them. So you want to have something subtle, something sexually subtle in terms of an innuendo. And it can be in a joking manner, just to throw it out there, but not definitely how you like getting that ass hit from the back. Do you like 2-minute drills? You don't want to get into all that. You know what I'm saying? Do you give head? What type of, do you do the Gok Gok 3000? You don't want to get into all that, guys. It's definitely not necessary. Don't do that. You just keeping it cool, man. Another thing, as I said before, I brought up the politics part in terms of that stuff, because that can be a very contentious subject. And you also, for you guys who are watching Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, all this stuff, don't let that stuff leak out into the conversation. Don't let that stuff leak out. If she asks you, you'd be like, yeah, I've seen some of the material. If she's trying to get answers out of you, just keep it diplomatic. You want to keep it even keel. You don't want to be like, I'm not telling you to hide how it is that you truly feel, but some women throw this out as tests. You want to throw it out there like that. You don't be, well, Kevin Samuel says this and you should be doing this, da 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 da. That turns a lot of women off, believe it or not, fellas. So you don't want to bring that up, especially unsolicited. If she asks you, just keep it diplomatic, man. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it cool. Don't go into that whole mode, because your inner He-Man woman hater is going to come out on some of these things. Because a lot of you guys who don't know, who are untested in this dating room, it comes out in the wrong way and it turns women off. So just chill on that, all right? Another thing you guys don't want to do is you guys don't want to talk about your exes. Do not sit there whining on the first date about your ex did this, my ex did that. My ex-girlfriend. You don't want to talk about other women. You know what I'm saying? If it's brought up, you want to talk about them in a positive light. Regardless of how bad it was, just say, hey, I learned from it. It was a great experience. It just didn't work out. And you're just going to keep it at that. You're not going to sit there and, this bitch took me for everything. She took all my money. I can't stand that slut, blah, blah, blah. And you're just going off and you're just rambling on, rambling. You're not doing yourself any favors, guys. Do not do that. It's because it basically is like, well, why are you here with me? It sounds like you really aren't over this woman yet. And it can scare some women. So don't do that, fellas. Now, if you're out at a restaurant or a bar or something and you may be nervous, don't be sitting there knocking them back if you're drinking alcohol. Don't sit there and get wasted and become belligerent, or basically where you can't talk and speech slurring and all this. It's not sexy. Have maybe a drink. If she drinks, have a glass of wine too. But other than that, just keep it down to maybe one drink. The date shouldn't be all night long. It should be brief. Maybe 1-2 drinks and keep it funky. You don't want to show that this guy is just getting wasted or whatever. Unless you guys are going to multiple dates, i.e. you're going to this place, then going to another place, then going to another place after that. That's perfectly fine. But you still don't want to get wasted. You know your limit. You know what time it is. Hopefully you know your limit. You don't want to get into all that stuff like that. So don't do that. It's definitely not sexy, fellas. Touching. You don't want to be trying to touch a woman, rubbing on her, playing footsies with her under the table, caressing her hair, touching her face, any of that stuff, any unsolicited touching. You don't want to do that. The most you should be doing is when you first meet her, you give her a hug, which I believe is proper dating etiquette. Some women may not feel like that, but I've never had an issue with that. Give her a hug, and when you're leaving, you give her a hug. And that's that. Don't ever go in for the kiss on the first date. That's a little bit too much, unless it gets to that point and somehow you end up somewhere else. Or she's looking at your lips, you're looking at her lips, you guys are within close proximity. Some of you guys don't know how to measure that. You end up overstepping your boundaries and looking like a creep. And that's it. You're done. So don't be doing any touching or anything like that. It definitely gives off creep vibes, and it basically makes a woman feel like this guy is... So just leave it down to the initial hug and the goodbye hug, and that be that. That also goes along with coming on too strong. You guys don't want to come on too strong. You don't want to be showering her with compliments like I already said. You don't want to be planning your life, getting married with kids and all this other stuff. You don't want to be over dramatic and overdoing things that'll have a woman like, this guy is completely creepy. He's turning me, I don't know. Oh, don't come on too strong. Guys, be laid back. Even when you're at dinner or wherever you're at, be laid back, be sitting back in your seat, taking it all in, be relaxed instead of just all up in, yeah. Don't do that, fellas. Do not do that. Just relax, just chill. And the last thing you don't want to do, guys, you don't want to be talking about marriage or talk about your past marriage. If it comes up, if she asks you, by all means, you express your thoughts on marriage. How you choose to answer that, it's on you. I'm not telling you to be deceitful, but it's best to be honest with the woman in terms of how you feel with marriage and in terms of kids. Kids is something that comes up as well, which naturally comes about in the conversation, which I don't think, some people will hide that they have kids, but it is what it is. But definitely don't start bringing up marriage and stuff like that unless she asks you. And then you just give her your opinion on it. But all in all, guys, just remember, let her do most of the talking. Keep her engaged. Give her eye contact. Throw out a little sexual innuendo there, a subtle one. Compliment her. Don't do it too much. Just compliment her initially, because women put in work and effort, especially a lot of times, to look a certain way. She doesn't want to come out there and you not acknowledge the effort that she put in to see you. So you want to do that, and you just want to keep it cool, nice flowing conversation, guys. Don't overthink it. Be yourself. You definitely don't want to have there be a bunch of lulls of silence or where you guys are just staring at each other. Don't be pulling out your phone looking at it, guys, and just keep it cool. When the date is over, when it's all said and done, say it was nice meeting you, give her a hug, and be like, you have a good night. Or if you want to say, text me, I want to know that you made it back safe. That's cool too. And say, I'll see you soon, and just leave it at that. Never ask her, so when is our second date? All this stuff like that. You just want to give her a few days, or if she texts you or whatever, you want to give her a few days, maybe even a week or so, and ask her out again if you want to see her again, and let that be that. But you don't want to be like on that same date, hey, let's plan a second date on this date. Nah. Let her wonder about you instead of just being, oh my goodness, da, da, da. Plus, a lot of times, guys, you have to play it by ear. If she's bringing it up, then you talk about it or be like, hey, I can check my schedule and get back to it. But yeah, I'll definitely love to see you if that's the case. Just be cool, guys. Don't overdo it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think, though, about this video. What has been your story with dating? And what are some no-goes on that first date? Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit me up on Linktree to book a one-on-one with yours truly. Purchase all my books, merch, t-shirts. It helps us support the channel. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. With that being said, much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next video that's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys at. This is your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm out of here. Peace.
Yeah. 50 Cent. 50. Part 2. Bring it back. Yeah. Can't forget Tony. 50. UK.